Good afternoon, part one, and welcome to our final video installment of this PQP season. We'd like to first welcome you. We are here today on a beautiful National Aboriginal Day, as well as the first day of summer. And Denise has a greeting for us.
Good afternoon. I say bonjour, wache. We would like to just recognize that we are gathered on the traditional territory of Benimkiwaju, and it is a beautiful day out there today. So we're glad we're here.
So I wanted to offer just a few final notes and comments on our journey here. It was very short and very condensed, and there was quite a lot of work, and we do understand that. So we appreciate all your attention to detail and getting things done and turned in. I know some folks are still working, and we did say it would be
That's
open.
okay.
It's absolutely okay, and we are marking ourselves really as quickly as we possibly can. But the course marks will be in by June 30th, and that's when they'll be available to you. And at that time, once your practicum proposal has been submitted and we've signed off on it, that's what eventually gets submitted to OCT and when it appears on your certificates. So that's the last component of it. So just getting the marks isn't quite enough to make it appear on the certificates. We have to have the proposals signed, returned to you, and then they get submitted to OCT for placement on the certificate.
Right. We had, I know it felt like a roller coaster ride. There's been so many great comments that happened throughout the course. They're relatively large classes, so there was a lot of diversity, a lot of situational spaces that people were working in. So I feel that as a group, it was really a nice learning opportunity, not just for each other, but for me as well, just to see how different districts and different regions work through stuff from data to staffing to school communities and the communities that the schools are located in and situations that they serve within. So we just wanted to really say a big thank you for really committing. I feel like every single person who wrote posts, they weren't flippant, they weren't angry, they weren't like people were invested in what they were saying, and they were thoughtful and they were responsive to each other. And that, for me, makes a very special group of people when people are that committed to helping each other learn and developing their own learning.
So a few words there, too, about the practicum proposals. Some have sent them via email, which we prefer them actually need to be in the assignment Dropbox in the course link. So you go into the course, if you'll scan those forms into a PDF, and then you can drop them right there. Then that way we keep a good running record, and we can look back at them. Say something comes up later as you're finishing your practicum, in the next year or two, we can actually still go back to that assignment Dropbox and pull it right up very quickly in case we need to look over something. So if you can just ensure that those practicum forms are signed by both you and your mentor, and that they are dropped in the assignment Dropbox for practicum proposal.
And once we sign them, Kristen and I both usually sign using Adobe Digital. We will share those back to you through the lakeheadu.ca email. So if you're looking for them, look there, because that's where we'll do a shared link, and then we'll put them in our Google Doc from there, and then we'll share them back to you. So that way you can always grab them out of that email, or you can grab them out of that Google Doc. Those same forms will have to be resubmitted with your practicum in part 2 when you're finished your practicum. So if you, I usually just leave stuff in email forever and then I can find it, but however you want to save it, or if you want to download it and put it in a little Google Doc of your own, that way you can go back at it, because your mentor, yourself, and one of us, or whoever your part 2 provider is, has to sign off on that form with your final practicum after part 2. So it's important that you keep those together.
Okay.
Now, school's out for most people this week or next week in Ontario, for those of you in Ontario, and some of our students at international schools may have different end dates. But
some are working their way home as we speak from international schools.
Yeah, so we want to wish you a very healthy, safe July and August, and take some time to relax and spend some time on your social, emotional side, because I know we've been really working on the academic, intellectual side for the last little while. But we wish you a safe and well summer. And on behalf of Lakehead University, Maria and John have asked us to extend their thanks at joining us in this learning journey. And for those of you who are interested in part 2, you can take it in a similar way. It is a little easier, I find. There's less modules, so
there are less modules.
It's as many hours, but we're moving on less topics, and we're actually going quite a bit deeper into things.
And the fall session in particular is a little longer,
so if you'd like 11 weeks better to do your 110 hours, that may be the way to go for you.
And we would welcome you all back. So Have a great
Okay,
summer.
have a great summer.
And we look forward to reading practicums.